Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover today, and we're starting with just the fact that Days Gone Remastered is out now. And I did play this game yesterday for a little while, and you guys know, or at least a lot of you know, I really enjoyed Days Gone when it launched back in 2019. It became one of my favorite games of the PlayStation 4 generation. And I know that this is a game that maybe didn't necessarily need the remaster treatment, but I am also happy to see it basically being given a second chance in the hopes that if it does really well, both Sony and Ben Studio will maybe consider doing a proper sequel to this game. But either way, I just wanted to kind of ask you guys to let me know down in the comments below if you're planning on playing Days Gone Remastered. Are you buying it or upgrading to it, or are you just going to be passing on it? Let me know in the comments below. We're starting here though with a new PS5 system update. This is being reported on the official PlayStation blog. They say here we continue to work behind the scenes to bring new enhancements to the PS5 experience. And today we are excited to announce two key additions based on player feedback: audio focus and the return of the classic console designs for the PS5 UI. The PS5 system update will roll out globally in a phased approach starting April 24th, so it started yesterday. And here are details on the new features. So starting with audio focus, they say here, audio focus increases immersion by providing presets to amplify soft sounds to meet your hearing preferences, ensuring a clearer audio experience when using headphones or headsets. This feature supports broader accessibility in audio experiences. When the audio focus setting is turned on, you can choose from a range of preset options, which makes it easier to distinguish sounds like in-game character dialogue, subtle sound effects such as footsteps and rustling grass, as well as voices in party chats for a more immersive gaming experience. To enable audio focus, go to Settings, under Sound, under Volume, and then click Audio Focus. This feature can also be accessed from the Control Center, so you can easily adjust the setting during gameplay. You can choose from 4 preset focus type options for which sound to boost. So here they are. Boost low pitch. You can amplify low frequency sounds like roaring engines and rumbling noises. Boost voices. Amplify voice, chats, character voices, and other middle frequency sounds. Boost high pitch. Amplify high frequency sounds like footsteps and metallic noises. And finally, boost quiet sounds. Amplify low volume sounds in a wide range of frequencies. You can set the level of support for each preset type from 3 different levels: weak, medium, and strong. Additionally, you can also choose to adjust the level of support for the preset for left/right channels separately to meet your specific preferences. The audio focus feature is available when using headphones connected via USB or analog jack. It is not supported for HDMI connections through TV, AV receivers, or soundbars. The next feature here is the classic console designs for the PS5 UI returning. During our 30th anniversary celebrations, we surprised our fans with a limited time selection of nostalgic customization features for the PS5 system UI to honor the 4 PlayStation consoles that paved the way for PS5: PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 4. Due to the overwhelmingly positive response from our community, we're happy to bring back the look and feel of 4 console designs for players to customize the home screen on PS5. This feature will be called The Appearance and can be accessed under the Settings menu. We're excited to bring the update to you and would love to hear your thoughts on them. Which features are you looking forward to seeing? So they encourage you to kind of share your comments here on the PlayStation blog. I assume they'll be reading them. But the one thing I do need to mention that they leave out with the PS5 update here, specifically with the classic consoles or the nostalgic themes, is that the PlayStation 1 boot up does not return with this. So keep that in mind. I know people are going to be disappointed by that. I'm not surprised. I did not expect them to bring that back. That seemed like that was going to remain exclusive for the 30th anniversary celebration, but still, it is very cool that they listened to player feedback. People were very upset when they found out that these themes were going to be limited time only, and they said they would come back at a later date, and here they are. I also just want to say real quick before we move on that I think this new audio focus setting is actually very cool, and I think a lot of people are actually going to get a lot of use out of this. So let me know your thoughts on this new update. Moving on to the next topic, we have a report here from Push Square, where they say Finland's finest establishment, Housemarque, is set to celebrate its 30th anniversary this year, and the studio appears to be teasing, well, something or other for the occasion. For the record, Housemarque's anniversary falls on July 19th, so we expect whatever's being teased to crop up around then. On its socials, the developer recently shared this unusual found footage style clip with oddly superimposed sounds on top. It's not really clear what this teaser is hinting towards, but the comments beneath have some ideas. Some are shouting Saros, the upcoming follow-up to the studio's brilliant roguelike shooter Returnal. Indeed, the team is planning to unveil gameplay later this year, so perhaps it's simply something to do with that. Other hopes and dreams in their replies are a PS5 Pro patch for Returnal, Resogun 2, a new Super Stardust, and even Alienation 2. Housemarque has made a lot of great games, and it's time. Yeah, this is something that I do want to just take a moment to highlight. Housemarque does seem to be teasing something for its 30th anniversary, which is not surprising. They've been talking about it this year. They did let us know that we're going to get Saros gameplay before the end of the year, and so you do have to wonder now that we're going into May. The past 2 years, Sony has done shows in May, whether it be a PlayStation showcase or State of Play. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see, but I assume we're going to be seeing it very soon. Moving on to the next topic, we have an interesting one here, once again coming from Push Square. They say Sony announced it'll be having another PlayStation Plus clear out next month, as it did in May 2024. The update means that 22 PS5, PS4, and Classic titles will be taken off the service, but in a more surprising move, the refresh also affects some PS3 games on PS Plus Premium. This is bad enough on its own, but there's actually a knock-on effect. Resistance Fall of Man and Resistance 2 will not be playable whatsoever on PS5 and PS4 after May 20th, 2025. The two PS3 classics are only available on PS Plus Premium, and as such, they can only be streamed. You cannot purchase a digital copy of the game and download them like you can the PS1 and PS2 titles on PlayStation Plus Premium. Due to this, since Resistance 1 and 2 were added to the service in November 2024, they will have only been available for 6 months when they depart. After that, you simply can't play them in any form on PS5 or PS4. First-party game removals on PS Plus have been rare, with only a few examples being the 2 Horizon games taken off. However, you can obviously still buy those games from the PlayStation Store. That won't be the case when Resistance Fall of Man and Resistance 2 are thrown out next month. So this is something that I think has annoyed quite a few players. Not only are they annoyed that Sony is out here increasing the price of PlayStation Plus, but while they're doing that, they're also clearing out a lot of games. Losing 22 games is quite a bit. But what is really strange is first-party games being removed. So on one hand, this just straight up sucks because they're literally removing the ability to access these games in any form outside of purchasing a PS3 and purchasing these games and playing them natively on the PS3. On the other hand, I have seen some people thinking maybe this is a slight hint to Resistance returning. Maybe a possible Resistance collection that is going to be announced for PS5. I absolutely do not want to get anybody's hopes up. It is much more likely, in my opinion, that for whatever reason, they're just choosing to remove them from the service, and that's the last you're going to hear of Resistance. There is one thing I do want to point out here that may also give people just a little bit more hope, and that is that not that long ago, we found out that the studio People Can Fly is working on a PlayStation IP. They're making a sequel, seemingly, to a PlayStation IP, and the project is called Delta, and Delta stands for 4, so naturally, considering the history of People Can Fly, people are thinking that they are working on Resistance 4. Could there be some kind of connection here? Am I trying to connect dots where there aren't any? Probably. But I'm just putting this stuff out there because there's no way around the fact that it's really strange for Sony to be removing their own first-party games from their service. It literally makes no sense. Having these games in here only entices people further to consider upgrading or subscribing. So I guess in my mind, I just feel like there has to be a reason they're choosing to do this. But maybe not. I guess we'll have to wait and find out. We're going to move on to the next topic here, which talks about the Until Dawn movie. I don't know how many people are looking forward to this, but the reviews are out, and it seems to be doing relatively okay. Over on Rotten Tomatoes, it scored a 62% based on 42 reviews, and I was looking over them, and essentially What it boils down to is if you are going into this movie hoping that it is similar to the game and does justice to the game itself, the game that it's based on, you're going to be disappointed. It does not do that. I think if you watch the trailers, that makes it pretty clear. However, on the other hand, if you're looking for just a pretty good to decent horror movie that is, I guess, not taking itself too seriously, where it seems like it's a mixture, and this was an interesting description I heard, of Cabin in the Woods meets Groundhog Day, I think it's a movie you'll probably end up liking. So the reviews are a bit mixed here, but a 62%, I've seen much worse on Rotten Tomatoes. I do wonder how Sony feels about this, because when it comes to PlayStation productions, they have seemingly not had any real misses so far. I think the only movie that was maybe considered a potential miss was the Uncharted movie. So I'm not sure how satisfied they're going to be with the ratings here for the Until Dawn movie, but yeah, let me know if this is something you're planning on checking out. The final topic we're going to cover has to do with FF7 Remake Part 3, once again being reported by Push Square. We all know that work on the third game in the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy is well underway, but as it turns out, its release might be closer than many people think. This new strain of speculation stems from a fresh Instagram post by Cody Christian, otherwise known as the English voice actor for the one and only Cloud Strife. He teases, "So happy to be back with my bestie," followed by an image of the spiky-haired protagonist. He's also clearly inside of a recording booth. So unless Cloud's going to have some kind of surprise appearance in another game, it's fair to assume that the voice recording for FF7 Remake Part 3, or whatever it ends up being called, is happening right now. Typically, voice acting is added to a project fairly late in its development cycle, both in a bid to prevent leaks and avoid potential re-recordings at a later date. What's more, booth activity tends to mean that the script is basically finalized. Back in January, the development team confirmed that Part 3's story was complete, and so it seems that things are progressing quickly. Just wanted to give you guys this small update because, yeah, it already seemed like we were going to be getting FF7 Remake Part 3 much sooner than anticipated, but considering how they're out here basically making it known that they're recording voice lines, I mean, this game might really come much sooner than we expected. Anyway, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it informative. If you did, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.